Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of The Real Israel Podcast with me, your host, Chaim Mailspin. Join us as we dive into Israel's past, present, and future as we explore the rich history, current events, and visionary perspectives shaping this dynamic region. Welcome to another episode of The Real Israel Podcast with me, your host, Chaim Mailspin. I have the great privilege to sit with a dear friend, also a combat engineer soldier like me, and his name is Adi. Thank you, Adi, for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Kotler, did I say your family name?
Yes,
your
Kotler.
Surname correctly? Kotler. Okay. Now, you were a soldier since 2003, 20 years in the Combat Engineering Corps.
Exactly.
You're also a lawyer.
Yeah.
Wow.
My daily job is a lawyer. I am in the reserve of Israel, the Israeli military, for approximately 20 years.
20 years.
Since 2003.
And then you were injured on October 7th, and you had to go and heal.
I was called to service in October 7. Been in training for 1 month, and then unfortunately I fell and I broke my elbow.
Oh.
Needed to recover, and I'm happy because I'm coming back to serve in the 15th of October. First time after my injury.
Okay.
Which is a great thing for me.
These guys are so tough. They get injured. I see it happening again and again. Injured, shrapnel, and then a few months later, they're back. They're like, I'm not giving up. I'm back in alongside you, Chaim.
Definitely.
Thank God I've never been majorly injured. Just minor injuries and lacerations in my whole 734 days straight consecutive deployment.
For me, it's the way I see it is a privilege to serve in the military. It's even a right. Mm-hmm. It's a right and it's a privilege to serve in the military. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's not an obligation. It's just something you feel inside you want and need to do.
Right.
And I'm happy that in Israel, many people feel the same. So.
There's a lot I would love to talk about and hear about your Army service and what you've done. But just because of the Trump deal, the 20 or 21 phased part deal, and everyone's here. I mean, you feel like the intensity of desire and yearning for the hostages to return. I mean, we've waited 2 years of hell on earth, and emotions are running high because these are families. And the thought that they could return they were taken on tabernacles, and they could.
Amazing.
I mean, it's almost, and I'm getting chills. Really, I'm getting chills just even thinking about.
Definitely a biblical thing, divine thing, miracle, however you want to call it.
In the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah chapter 8. It talks about verse 16 and 17. It talks there about these that were taken captive will return and build their tabernacles.
Amazing.
And rejoice in their tabernacles. That's like a prophetic thing. That's like a reoccurring biblical principle. It's
exactly.
Like, are we in the Bible? Yes, we are.
Sometimes you can confuse in these points. Are you in the Bible times or not? Because it's so similar.
It's so similar. But I wanted to really pull out of you, if I could, your expertise or your thoughts on this Trump deal, especially really, I mean, there's things in there. Not everyone's read all 20 points and even discussed the implication of those 20 or 21 points. It depends who's looking at it. One of those things is we're not allowed to annex or take over Judea and Samaria, our heartland, like Hebron, and like so.
That's a big sacrifice we did. Definitely, this is one of the things that I felt needed to be in this Trump deal.
Needed to be in or not in?
Needed to be in.
Okay.
Since I think the next threat is coming from Judea and Samaria.
So we should take it over then.
Yeah, in my opinion, definitely.
I was thinking you're saying we shouldn't take it over.
Look, the Trump deal is divided to two. First phrase, we are doing a little bit of a retreat, military retreat, and then we get our hostages, which is it's a great thing. It's one of the war goals, and I think it will be more easy to continue the campaign if we need the military campaign after when we don't have these hostages there. The second stage of it is that Hamas is going to be disarmed. I don't know exactly how is that going to work. I think everybody is a little bit in euphoria right now that the war is over and all of that. I'm not sure it's true. Since I don't see Hamas giving up power in Gaza in the future.
Right. Well, the good thing for the Hamas, the good thing for them, these evil people, is when a terrorist puts on a suit coat, wow, I guess they're civilized now. They're no longer a terrorist. It worked for Jolani. He's an ISIS, essentially Al-Qaeda terrorist. Put on the suit coat, I guess maybe ISIS, Hamas can do the same.
Yeah, that's probably what they will do. They will just put on their suits, hide their weapons, and in the right time, when Trump will not be here, in 3 years or so, they will come up and they will gain power in this time, and that's a bad thing for us. It's a question if we should go for this deal considering that we don't get Judea and Samaria, which is something super important in the strategic level, in my opinion, and that we don't really disarm Hamas, which was one of the goals of the war.
Yeah.
We didn't achieve right now.
But it will be part of it. It's part of the deal to disarm.
Yeah, but I think
will it really happen?
I think it's in the gray area. Like,
yeah,
nobody can explain how practically we're going to do that. I don't believe, and they say they won't, and I believe them. They will just give up the weapons. The good thing here, though, that I think it's a little bit under the carpet and people doesn't speak about, is the fact that the Rafah pass barrier is supposed to be open, and people could actually leave Gaza, and that's supposed to be under the responsibility of the UN, which if it will happen, so that's a great thing. That means that all the people in Gaza, that some of them are poor, some of them are part of this war against the will, they will be able to leave to other country and live their life, and that's a good thing. If few hundreds of thousands of people will leave Gaza, or million people leave Gaza, that can be the end of the problem in the long run.
Yeah, it's really a tumultuous time. I want to jump back even before we looked at Judea and Samaria. You've discussed in other podcasts and other things Judea and Samaria in the past, I believe, and the strategic nature of why we should annex it, we should take it over, and the threat that it poses. I don't know if people even realize that this Palestinian state that multiple Western nations that are supposed to be our allies voted for, I don't know if they know that it would put Hamas right in the old city of Jerusalem.
Exactly.
I mean, they're not coming from a buffer zone far away in the desert in the south of Israel. They're inside Jerusalem, where our capital is, where we go and hang out and eat ice cream.
Hebron, or
they would be right inside. How would they survive if you have essentially ISIS, Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, who's saying they can't bring in everybody, along with Hamas?
Together with the rockets on their backs.
Nobody's stopping them from bringing full-on bombs. There's no checkpoints.
And then there will be a state. How you can even invade a state when they're already not some kind of a authority like right now.
And the Hebron massacre could come back.
Exactly. I think that the first point we need to understand here that Judea and Samaria, it's, people might think that the heart of Israel is Tel Aviv or Jerusalem in an extent. I think the heart of Israel is Judea and Samaria. This is really, geographically, it's really inside us, the way it is in the map. If you look in the map, you will see Judea and Samaria is inside Israel. Now, if you give the Palestinians the states, and tomorrow Hamas is coming to power there, that means that they will get a weapon and start shooting on us from these locations, which will be, could be the end of Israel in that scenario. This is a real threat that we should not allow under any circumstances, in my opinion, no matter which states in the world vote against us. And on top of that, I mean, of course, it's historically injustice. Hebron was a Jewish city in the biblical time. Now there is not even a single Jew inside the city, which is terrible. And you just shouldn't allow it.
Shouldn't allow it. Do you feel a deja vu? You know the word deja vu, a French word, like I was here before. 2005 was leave Gaza. The Oslo Accords were actually cut through Judea and Samaria, Area A, Area B, Area C. Jews don't go in these areas. Get everyone out, including the bodies of the Jewish people in 2005.
From the cemeteries.
To come out and give billions of dollars to them. Do you feel, in a way, this is kind of deja vu, that will work? And how did that work out? Very badly. It worked out after 20 years almost. A massacre. Do you think we have deja vu, that this is leading to a Palestinian state again?
That's the right word, deja vu, because we did it in the Oslo Accords. We did it with Hamas in Gaza, and we always got bad results. And it's never solved any problem. That's just a fact. And on top of that, I think that the governments that vote for a Palestinian state, they do it because either they want to incite the attention from their own problems. France has a lot of problems right now. So it's very easy to come and speak about Israel and Israel war crimes and Israel here and Israel there, to drag the attention from what's happening in your country. In your country, in France, economically and safety-wise, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah, same thing in the UK. I just read in the UK, for example, the rape ratio on 2024, and that's above 60,000 rapes in 2024 alone. Can you believe that?
In France,
in the UK,
60,000 in the UK.
In the UK, more than 70,000. Could you believe that?
People getting raped, and they can see that it's the perpetrators are these invaders.
I don't want to sound, racist or anything, but I believe it's most of the crimes are not of this type of crimes doesn't happen because of the natives.
Right.
It happens because of the mass immigration that happened there in the last
I heard
years.
Belgium had a state of emergency. I think that they said we've lost control of our country for a while. Then they said we got it back. Then you have the 700 no-go zones or more where the police, someone could get beheaded in France.
It's insane.
No police. No
So
police
what do you
allowed.
do? You speak about Israel, about the war crimes. You drag the attention there. You vote for Palestinian country because you think like that you will make these people happy.
Right.
These immigrants happy. But you can see what happened to Italy. They didn't vote for that.
Yeah.
And the next day they had riots and all
Right.
over the country and all of that. So that's a real threat for these leaders. And
Right.
they don't vote because they believe this is the solution. They
Right.
voted like that because it's their inside pressure from the street.
Yep.
And the threat of violence that will happen in their cities, and they basically with the back to the corner, and that's the real threat for them. This is a threat on them, not on us. We are
Right.
here fighting our war.
And so we're in this today. We're dealing with the release of 2,000. I understand 2,000 Hamas operatives. Some of them Nukhba, some of them maybe Gazans that were just there to pillage and rape and kill and maim people, but they weren't maybe Hamas trained. I don't know. And you have there the Israel saying Marwan Barghouti, no, we don't want to release him, but we'll release other ones. Is this actually bad for us, this part of the deal, or is it okay? Because I'll tell you, I'll give you the question even better. Housing and feeding these terrorists forever isn't really that good either, and it costs a lot of money. 2,000 people, that's a lot of time and money and prison guards and for just a bunch of evil murderers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, first of all, it's a moral question. Because 250 of these terrorists are people with blood on their hands. That means they kill other innocent civilians, sometimes soldiers, and they got jailed for it. So now, how are the family members of the victims supposed to feel when they're going to live their happy life in Turkey or in Egypt or God knows where, after they kill your own relatives, sometimes children, sometimes parents, and that's a terrible thing by itself. But, in war, sometimes you do sacrifices, and we all want the hostages home. And that's the price we are willing to pay, which is a crazy price, like 2,000 people of terrorists in this type, in different levels. Some of them are murderers, some of them just did some other crime, but nobody of them is innocent. And you pay this price because you want the hostages home. And it's a moral question and a strategic question, because what do you do if these people come back to murders, like happened before? You can see Sinwar is the top commander that planned this crazy thing that happened on the 7th of October.
And they want his body back too now.
They want his body, and he was freed by Gilad Shalit. It was one soldier he wanted to free from captivity in Gaza. So we pay Sinwar. Now we pay the death of 1,002 people. Some of them were babies. So first and foremost, it's a moral question.
Right.
Nobody knows, in my opinion, if it's the right thing to do.
For 20 living hostages, 2,000 terrorists for 20 living hostages and another.
Also, you need to think about the message you are sending to these terrorists, because you're basically telling them, hijack more.
Right.
Hijack is a good thing. You will free your friends like that, your family like that.
You'll get a state. Just hijack a plane and don't fly it into the Twin Towers. This time, park it in Iran. And
what you're telling to Hezbollah? Hezbollah didn't hijack because of a decision. They decided not to go for these tactics right now. And they got obliterated by Israel. Israel didn't hold back. But Hamas that hijack people, Israel needed to hold back. So you basically telling Hezbollah, next time, hijack people from the Galil or from the north, from the Golan or whatever.
Hostage,
and take them hostage, which is a terrible message. So
do you know that
it's not an easy question that has a yes or no answer.
Do you know that even now, after supposedly this plan has been agreed and it's peace in the Middle East, right now they tried to kidnap soldiers.
Yes, right now, just 2 days ago.
Israelis. They tried right now in Gaza, soldiers, and tried to grab them. Also injured. Soldiers were blown up by IEDs. Right now,
They shot another missile yesterday. Another missile, they tried to hit the south of Israel with another missile.
I think that in the West, I don't know if they want to know what's going on. I know they don't know, but maybe they don't even want to study the facts, because I think people are maybe emotional more than they are rational. You're a lawyer, you're very rational. But and you're a Jewish lawyer, very rational. But but in the nations, a lot of them are very just emotional. They see a picture of a baby that was emaciated, which wasn't from Israel, and it's proven that it's not, but they don't care about the proof that it's not.
They fall for all the fake news. I think you need to do the separation between the governments and the public. And also inside the public, there are different types. I mean, the governments, they are just called politicians. Not necessarily they do what is in their interest. They do probably what they sometimes involve foreign interest, selfish interest, stuff like this.
Yeah.
The public, I believe that you need to do a separation between the native public of a nation to between the immigrants, because we cannot ignore the fact that 20% of France is now Muslim immigrants or African immigrants.
Wow, you're right.
So these people will ever be in the Jewish Israeli side? I believe not, regardless if you kill babies or not.
Right.
So I don't know. I really don't know. I think the native people, they have their own problems.
Right.
I'm not sure if they're all the time busy. What happened in Israel, like the media wants us to believe.
Right.
They have their own problems, which are a lot.
Yeah, this is my point, is I think the natives, not the immigrants in those countries, but the natives just want a quiet life. Like, let's just say the American dream. I know, let's just say for England, for France, they kind of want like the American dream.
Yeah.
And then they see all these protests blocking all the streets. They can't park their cars. In a very selfish way, they're just like, I want to park my car, and I'm getting my car destroyed they're painting swastikas on my car. What's going on? How do I need to just pressure Israel instead of now let's pressure Hamas or arrest all these people.
Or can happen the other way, or you're going to be very mad about this kind of marches and you will be against it. I believe that's what happens more or less.
But then they go and they pressure Israel instead of pressuring the people doing this or Hamas who's behind it. And so I find that that's maybe just possibly what it's like.
It's probably kind of a connection that happened between these immigration people to between the local, I don't want to use left and right terms, but people that are more holding more progressive agendas. And they are like, all right, the Palestinians are oppressed in their country. We are oppressed here by the white man or white supremacy or whatever you want to call it. So we have identified, we feel them. We feel the Palestinians, which is a completely different thing in real life.
The underdog. So let me ask you this. Do you think that if a Palestinian state was formed, if it happened in Judea and Samaria, right inside Jerusalem, right in Gaza, and this would be horrible, but if it happened, would the push for Sharia law in the West to take over the West stop? Would they take all the flags and say, we've achieved what we wanted?
Of course not.
No more flag waving, no more protests. We've achieved.
Look,
would that happen? Or
the most famous phrase I know in Arabic about this is, after Saturday will arrive Sunday. What do they mean when they say that? Saturday, the Jewish, we will finish taking care of the Jews. Then we'll move to Christians.
Take care of the Christians.
Which is Sunday. And it's the same thing. They don't hide the fact, most of them, a lot of them, they don't hide the fact that they don't come to blend in, to live with. They are here to live instead. And either you will convert, or either you will be an infidel and, with all the results and the outcomes in the Muslim Sharia law because of that. And it's important to understand that this is a direct threat on the West, on the Western values, and it's values that you share with Israel. Here we have the same values as the West.
Yeah, we do. And so Trump's plan calls for qualified Palestinians and international experts to form a transitional governing committee. What challenge do you foresee in establishing governing authority in Gaza with these qualified Palestinians? What challenges do you see? Like, who are they? Are they the PLO? Are they Saudis? They're not.
The PLO is supposed to be there in the end of all the other conditions that will be fulfilled. But I think you need to think about it actually from the Hamas mindset, because what they want to do. What they want to do. They know it's a bad timing for them. The world is against them. The Arab countries are against them. Even Qatar and Egypt and countries that were on their side right now. And there is this president, Trump, who is very strong, and he gets support. And you don't want to deal with them. So what do? The time is against you. You just wait. That means what they will try to do is just to sit there, wait, make time, and try to successfully pass this Trump area. And after that, it can be some kind of Kamala Harris or I don't know who, that will have different agendas, and then they will rise again. So they don't have any intention to go for the second stage of this deal, which is be disarmed and have some kind of a peace UNIFIL, or I don't know, peace guardians. That was also failed in Lebanon, this kind of method, but let's assume. So there is you need to think about it from the Hamas, because you need them to cooperate. And if they stay in power, which they are.
And so to buy time, that's why they're pushing for the UN to do the humanitarian aid, not the GHF, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, because they know the GHF is not letting they're not letting them get the aid. If they need to buy time, they need to get to rob the people and steal the food. So that makes sense why everyone's against the GHF. They're helping the Palestinians. You see them, tens of thousands. My friend is in there. Tens of thousands of people getting food, and they're happy. No Hamas. Well, if it's one Hamas dressed up, he's not taking a whole truck. Some Hamas might be getting that, but they're getting one amount. They're not getting the whole truck. So that's what UN gives them, allows them to steal the whole truck. I get it now. I understand. That's genius to understand this stuff. So
you need to understand that how the, let's say, Arab mindset is different than us, we think. And they definitely, the right strategy for them will be to make time in order to get through this time. And in 10 years, you will going to meet them again. We'll be stronger in different area with different president. And that can go wrong for us. So we need to consider that.
We had a bunch of Norwegian donors come here. They brought gold and silver to the charity, and it was just so amazing. One of the things they did, though, is they said, we believe the Oslo Accords was not God's will, the God of Israel, the Bible. It goes against the Bible, and they said, we follow the Bible, we hold to the Bible truth, so we are sorry, we apologize for the Oslo Accords. And they repented and cried and were sorry for the Oslo Accords. So Norwegian, I said, well, we forgive you. But do you think that still the Oslo Accords are going to be pushed in this way, even worse with this Trump plan? If we're not annexing, what's next? Are the settlements going to have to be uprooted? I don't even like to call them settlements, but you know, the cities and villages in Judea and Samaria are heartland, but it's the disputed territory because we haven't annexed it, so it's like disputed. It's like no man's land, the wild, wild east. So would you say that they're going to be maybe uprooted under Trump's plan later? Are they in danger? I have friends who live there.
I don't think any rational government will allow to evacuate these settlements, how the word described them.
Yeah, like Area C.
It's divided to A, B, and C. A is supposed to be, fully controlled by the PLO.
Yeah.
Also, you must ask, what is the PLO? I mean, it's a dictatorship.
Yeah,
they're
Hamas light. Diet Hamas.
But nobody even vote for them or like them. They can, or they even have the ability to govern. They don't. Because for 20 years you didn't have a free election there. So with who are we even dealing with here? Are they legitimate? One of the conditions according to the international law is to have a function, for having a state, you need to have a functional elected government. Who is it? With who are we are making this peace deal?
Yeah.
So of course there are challenges, practical challenges on the ground, and it doesn't matter what you speak between the politician above. I don't see any radical change.
So I know that the PLO, Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen, this old guy who's just continually ruling like a dictator. So he doesn't, do you think that they even want to run Gaza? Do they think they even want to?
I think they want to, but they want, it's very comfortable for them that Israel will do the dirty work. We sacrifice the blood of our soldiers to clean Hamas, and Hamas is the enemies of the PLO.
Right.
So it's very good. Israel will fight and clean Hamas, and then they will just arrive and take the Gaza Strip. I believe that's what they want to do, but I don't see Hamas giving up. And Hamas is very strong in Judea and Samaria as well. Like the people's heart in Judea and Samaria, according to all the polls, is with Hamas and not the PLO. So not only that they have a challenge to take over Gaza, the PLO, they have a challenge to control their own territories.
I'm seeing it happen, my friend. I'm seeing the Palestinian state because they're now connected. It's not two. And I even know that our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, did see that as a strategy to have them not all one.
And it's a good strategy still.
But now that Hamas is gone, they're going to now be one PLO running Judea and Samaria and Gaza as essentially a Palestinian state.
And that's a real threat because then they will come and tell you what you want. There is no Hamas. Now you must found a Palestinian state. But there are other challenges. You need to have a normal, organized borders and such. And we are not there yet. And I don't believe we will be there in the next future.
Yeah, and so then of course, technically, if they would get a state, there's no more refugees in the world. There's no more Palestinian refugees. They all have a state. You're not a refugee if you have a state.
Yeah.
So that means no more money, no more UNRWA. They might as well disband entirely. They should disband anyway because they've been evil.
Well, there is a law against Al Jazeera and against them. I don't know what happened. They're still here, and they're still functioning. And that's a big, real problem that. We are creating laws that we cannot enforce. Al Jazeera is still walking around. Al Jazeera is inciting for war all the time, and I don't see us doing enough in this kind of threats.
Multiple Arab nations, Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates have endorsed this plan How does this regional coalition change the geopolitical calculations for Israel, like Abraham Accords, for example? That's what we all want. We say hello, we say shalom, peace. That's the word, means peace. We say goodbye, shalom, peace. We want peace so much, you dangle that in front of a Jew, that's all we want. It's like, oh, give it to me, please, please,
we're
please.
kind of educated for that since we're born.
Yeah.
And which is, it's a great thing by itself.
So will this be peace in the Middle East with Qatar, with Turkey?
I honestly believe that no, because it doesn't matter what they state in the public, in the media. It matters what they really want under the surface. And I doubt that Saudi Arabia really wants a peace with Israel right now, because it can paint her, in the eyes of the Arab world, as a traitor, as cooperating with Zionism or Judaism, when Judaism is not positive in Islam, doesn't look in positive eyes in Islam.
No.
So do Saudi Arabia want, that is the leader of the Muslim world, wants to be a traitor right now? I'm not sure. But they will tell President Trump that yes, because they don't want to upset him.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that there is Iran that are not right now with the back into the wall, and they might do crazy things.
Yeah.
So there are too many challenges, too many interests involved, and I don't see anything really happen.
It's like a
with
big
this.
mess, this Middle East, and it's so deep. And even family hate from Abraham and Isaac versus Abraham and Ishmael, his son, the two sons, and their families.
You can always find the biblical context in everything that happened, and it's sometimes amazing to look on that. I was thinking, before the elections, the current elections that happened in the United States, I was like, of course I wanted Trump to be elected, and it was before the October 7th. And then, who ends up winning was Joe Biden. I was like, how? Trump was so great, and it was terrible. And I was like, well, I was sad.
That he didn't get in and Biden got
Yeah,
in, right?
and-
All of us were sad.
Yeah, all of us were sad. But look at that. Eventually, Trump won in the next election, in the best timing for us, because we were already deep in the war of the October 7th in that time. And I saw that as a real miracle. Look at that. Trump didn't win. Was amazing in that time. But if he would win in that time, so that means he wouldn't be with us today.
Now we would have Kamala or Biden.
Kamala or Biden or someone else. And that was terrible for Israel if that happened. So that is, it's a complete miracle in my eyes that Trump didn't win back then, but won the next elections, and now he's with us in one of the most crucial points in our modern time.
So Trump has flown here now at the time of this
hopefully,
filming, and let's just say you met him. Let's just say, hypothetically, as we wrap up, let's just say you met him. This is a hard question.
All right.
Okay.
Let's try to...
And he wants a lasting peace. I think he really wants a lasting peace, Trump. What would you advise him to change, or to what kind of plan would you say, Trump, you should do this, will give us some kind of advantage to a lasting peace? It's hard.
It's a hard question. First of all, regarding to Trump, the first thing any Israeli and any Jew and many other people in the world should do when they meet him is to, first of all, thank him, because he really is an amazing president, and he did a lot for us, and he did a lot for peace. Obviously, he's trying, and he tried to get stability in a world that is really messed up already. And first thing we need to do is to thank him. And after saying this, peace in the Middle East happens because of fear, unfortunately, and because you're scared of the lash that will come. And it can be only achieved by force. Like, if they scared enough from you, then you will get peace, like happened to us in the past with Jordan and Egypt. They tried to finish us a couple of times, and only when they lost war very hard, then we got a peace. So you first need to either win wars, or either threat you're going to go for a war in order to get peace, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know the word hudna in Arabic? Hudna, which really essentially means that the cost is so strong to keep jihading that you will be absolutely killed. So you have to say, listen, I am still at war with you. I still want to kill Jews.
Let's make a breakup until I will get stronger.
Till I get strong enough to kill you, but you never let them get that strong. The strategic thing that I've heard is you stay up. Israel must always be the strongest in order to make that lash be felt if they try it.
So he needs to be, if he wants peace, he needs to completely, I'm not objective by this, but he needs to keep supporting Israel and keep giving her the force to be scary enough for their enemies, for our enemies to try to act against us. If not, we will get another October 7th from a different direction maybe, hijacks, all kind of stuff, this terror. Unfortunately, this is the neighborhood we're living in, and there is no other solution, right?
wouldn't it be wise, this is going to sound very extreme, and obviously there's a lot of ambiguity, and we don't know if we even have nuclear weapons or not here in Israel. Who knows? It's very, it's very secret. Nobody knows. Yeah. We might not have them. Don't try us. Would it be wise to just do some small, controlled, tactical nuclear tests in the water and just say, guys, literally don't mess with us, please, because we don't push us?
I think dictatorships that actually wanted, and I'm referring Iran and places like that, they wanted, what happened in the 7th of Hamas did a surprise attack without asking the permission of Hezbollah or from Lebanon or Iran, and they just did it by themselves, and they were hoping that these countries will join and will obliterate us all. So the decision was for the leader of Hezbollah, Nasrallah back then, and Iran was like, okay, are we joining and going for this and really going for the throat of Israel, or are we waiting? And they choose not to interfere. Right. And I think the reason for that is because they knew that if it will get bad enough here, we might start launching nuclear bombs on them. And I think the people that
is still a deterrence, you said.
Yeah, the people that needs to be scared of this are still scared of this without us doing any kind of experiences or declaring that. But we shouldn't ignore that the real plan here was to completely finish us, completely surrounding us with this kind of threats from all the angles, invade all of us, all of them in the same day, and make sure that you wouldn't be able to function and defend yourself.
If the Houthis, which is a terror group in Yemen, and the Hezbollah, which is a terror group in Lebanon, and the Badr Force, which is a terror group in Iraq, and the groups in Judea and Samaria,
and Hamas
and Islamic Jihad, and Izz-al-Din al-Qassam,
and the ballistic missiles plan of
the Radwan,
and
in
Iran.
If they all attacked us at once, I think
there's absolutely no way we could survive, and that was the plan of Qasem Soleimani that Trump already finished a couple of years back. And we need to keep that in mind all the time. We are here because of very miracles a lot of miracles that happened to us. One of them is the one I stated that I fully believe it's a miracle that Trump is with us today, because before we were under sanctions from the Biden administration, embargo of weapons, which was terrible. You've been in the military, you saw how they count the bombs. That we wouldn't use too much because we are under an embargo, and we probably would not.
Biden put an embargo on us.
Trump put a diplomatic umbrella that protects us right now in the Security Council of the UN.
Right.
If we wouldn't have that, this is terrible.
The whole world would literally be against Israel if it wasn't the one U.S. veto
that we use over and over. Yeah, you remember that Obama back then didn't veto a decision against Israel. We actually got help from Putin back then. But in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. But stuff like that can happen, and we need to keep that in mind. Trump give us all the help and all the aid we need in this specific time right now. And if we wouldn't have that, we'll be in a different scenario right now.
It's true, and thank God and people's prayers and people's support. Final question, I just thought of it right now.
All right.
A question. There's 200 plus countries that have recognized the observer status of Palestine. They've agreed. There's pretty much all the countries in the world recognize an observer status, a state that doesn't exist called Palestine, and a people that doesn't exist. It's just Pan-Arabic peoples from Jordan, from
according
Egypt.
to their last names. They are from Barghouti or from Khalil or from
Al-Masri.
Or Al-Masri, the Egyptian.
Their last name of so many are Al-Masri.
This is like the biggest,
clearest sign.
Of
the reality. I know. But so, what would it take for these countries that look at them as an observer state to look at them as a state? And even if America vetoes, America can't stop them to say we recognize. And already they recognized in just now, and then on top of that recognition, there was a walkout. When Netanyahu spoke of maybe 200 nations, 100 and something nations, a very big amount, which I don't think that's even legal. So as a legal person, as a lawyer who studies a little international law and a little of this, what would it take for them to just establish in the UN, like Israel was established by a UN vote and a League of Nations vote and a San Remo ratification, but what would it take to establish in the UN, and America can't stop it?
First of all, there are a few. This is a question you need to disarm to a few parts. Okay. First of all, about the international law. My personal belief is international law. It's a bunch of, I don't want to use bad language.
Malarkey.
Yeah, I mean, you shape it how you want. Russia is performing war crimes. I didn't saw Putin in the ICC or in the ICJ, International Criminal Court or International Court of Justice. All these tribunals.
No warrant for arrest. Nothing.
Exactly. And what about Bashar al-Assad that was massacring his people in Syria? Many war criminals, or Kim Jong-un in North Korea. Or there are tons of examples. It's the international law is great when you need to condemn Israel. It never does so when you need to condemn other countries. So that's why I wouldn't take it seriously since the first place, since there is a lot of politics involved, and Israel is a minority in a sense that Muslims are way more people, way more countries, has a lot of influence in the world. You cannot fight that, right, in the international court. So I wouldn't take the international law as a real, big thing, or fair thing, or field that really seeks for justice. About if they will announce Palestinian state against our will or against the United States' will, I don't see it happens, because I think that Israel is in a better state right now than many other countries in Europe or United States. What I refer in that is like we are at least fighting our battles. We have a military that function, that fight, that protect us, that people believe in and wants to participate in.
Yeah.
Also, the next generations are already passionate about entering the military and joining and serving. Praying for that. We have many Jews, many Orthodox Jews, many
many that
settlers
don't want to go
Jews
in.
that are eager to join our military. But if you go for Europe, what do they have? Now they have a threat from Russia. North of Europe already threatened by Russia. Estonia, Sweden, Norway already need to shut down their airspace because of Russia. Who will defend them?
I talked to a friend in Europe, and I said, why are you letting pogroms happen to Jews? And they said, Chaim, we're not like you strong. We don't have training. They said, you have someone with a mask, with smoke, come off with a Molotov cocktail off of a street car in a motorcycle, beat a police officer, throw a Molotov cocktail, hide in the crowd, beating up Jews. We don't know how to deal with this terror. We weren't trained. We don't have your training.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got challenged so much in our past, so we know how to deal with that. But
yeah.
in the UK, not only that the native public cannot deal with that, they might get arrested if they do.
Yeah.
I mean, who is the minister of Shabana, her name now, that she's a minister in the parliament, or Sadiq Khan, which is the mayor of London. These people are supporting this group of immigrants.
They want Mamdani in New York now.
Exactly. So the natives they're hopeless, and there is nothing worse than being hopeless. And they are facing such threats that I think voting for Palestine, yes or no, is not going to be interesting for them in the next 10 years. In 10 years, where they're going to be? They're going to be in some kind of a civil war. Only that they are not aware of that, and they didn't challenge like that before. And that's terrible for them. At least here we are aware of the problem, we are fighting the problem. If you are supporting us from New York, yes or no, it's a different question, but you are threatening New York right now when you don't even know it.
Right.
So I think, you know it, you don't want to handle that right now. But these threats are not going anywhere, and that's the next stage.
So Israel must be strong and be the strongest and bring peace through strength. I agree. So did Douglas Murray agree to that. So did Ben Shapiro mentioned that. So did Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Last word to the people that are wanting to see the freedoms of the West, the Judeo-Christian values protected, the way of life of the West not be burned in an apocalyptic jihadist, dream of anarchy. What would you say to them? How can they pray? What can they do? Other than sharing this video.
First of all, as someone that serves in the military for the last 20 years, I want to really thank them. We really appreciate all their sacrifice, their prayers, their donations sometimes. There is no words to describe the appreciation we feel when we are there in the field of battle. And really, thank you for your support, and we appreciate it, and hopefully we can pray together. Jews love you, the IDF soldiers love you, and thank you for everything.
Don't forget to do the mitzvah of liking, comment, subscribe.
Big mitzvah.
God bless.
Thank you, God bless.
Thank you for watching this episode. If this episode touched you, your voice matters. There's hostages, there's tunnels, there's frontline voices that the media just won't bring to you. We are in the 8th front of this war. 7 fronts is Iran and its proxies. This is the 8th front, the media, the disinformation. Your gift Your donation helps us share the truth. Please donate on the link below.